couldn't be that time of the year. What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and today is going to be a different kind of video. Number one, thank you guys so much. We're over 750 subscribers now, almost 190,000 views. That is crazy that many people have taken the time to check out something I am making right here. But number two, I wanted to kind of build off of one of the releases that was coming out this week that I covered in the drop, and that is Rise of the Tomb Raider, the 20-year celebration, which is coming to the PlayStation 4. And I also kind of want to talk about the game in general and why you should definitely play it, because it seems like there's such an oversaturation of games that this one is more than likely going to get overlooked yet again with its release on the PlayStation 4. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So right off the bat, the game had a couple of things that were holding it back as far as sales and the public eye goes. So number one, it was actually released on the same day as Fallout 4. Need I say more? I mean, when it comes to choosing between Rise of the Tomb Raider and Fallout, then you're obviously going to be choosing Fallout 4 for the majority of people. That's just some common sense stuff. Whenever you're talking about a franchise as huge as Fallout, you're probably going to choose that over a sequel to a reboot that came out in 2013, no matter how good that game actually is. Now, the second big factor holding it back is the fact that it was only released on the Xbox One as far as consoles go, and the PC port did pick up a lot of the slack as far as sales go, but it still was lacking just because it wasn't on the PlayStation 4. We saw a similar situation with Titanfall a couple of years back whenever these consoles were launching. It was an Xbox One and PC exclusive, but as far as consoles go, and considering that's what the majority of people are playing on, then you have to kind of take that into consideration whenever you are releasing a game and what to set for the expectations of that game, because Rise of the Tomb Raider, I guarantee you, would have sold way better if it had been released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. That is just common sense. Now, as far as the actual game goes, not talking about sales or release timing or any of that analytical stuff, the game was absolutely phenomenal. It received nominations and it actually got awards pretty much across the board. It was nominated, and I believe it won Best Xbox One Game. It was nominated for Game of the Year. I believe it got Best Narrative. It was nominated for Best Voice Acting. It was, by the majority of people's standards, a fantastic game, and it was largely overlooked whenever you compare it to the sales of some of the other major games that came out towards the end of last year, because you had Call of Duty Black Ops 3, you had Fallout 4, you had The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt that came out earlier in the year that a lot of people waited until later to get so that they could get some of that DLC action going on. There were so many games released in the course of 2015 that just Rise of the Tomb Raider, it kind of missed the mark for some of the people's list, even though it definitely deserved to be on there. So here we are just under a year later, and we're finally seeing the release of Rise of the Tomb Raider on the PlayStation 4, though not necessarily in the way that you would expect. So with the original Tomb Raider reboot that came out in 2013, you had the original release of the game on the Xbox 360, eventually coming to the PlayStation 3, and then a re-release of that game in the Definitive Edition, or whatever it was called, on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. And of course that had touched up graphics, all of that good stuff, included a couple of bells and whistles for those that hadn't played the game already. I actually played the game on the Xbox One, really enjoyed that thing. That's where I played Rise of the Tomb Raider as well. But with this release on the PlayStation 4, it's actually the 20-year celebration edition, if you will, and it does come with a couple of new incentives for people that have already played the game, as well as newcomers to the game itself. So, of course, as you would expect, it includes all of the DLC that ever came out for Rise of the Tomb Raider. That's talking story stuff, that's talking this weird zombies mode, a couple of other little things here and there, as well as outfits and weapons that were included with the DLC releases for the course of the life cycle of the game. So, in addition to all of the DLC and stuff, you're getting the Blood Ties VR mission, which is compatible with PlayStation VR, not required, but it pretty much allows you to explore Croft Manor through the eyes of Lara as you try and find some kind of hidden room in your childhood home. Now, it is dilapidated, it is falling in, and it does look absolutely beautiful, so it's going to be great to kind of showcase the power of the PlayStation VR unit. Now, on top of that, you are getting a couple of little skins and things. So you have the 20-year celebration Lara, I suppose skin is the best way I can put it, attire, if you will. And then you also have the weapon that comes with the 20-year celebration. Now, on top of that, you have 5 iconic Lara skins from past experiences that we've all had with Tomb Raider that kind of showcase where she's been over the years. Now, you might be saying, well, Sam, that's not that much stuff. Do I really need to play this game? Yes, you absolutely need to play this game. This isn't one that I'm just kind of passively saying you need to play. I'm saying this was going to be my game of the year for 2015, and it would have been if I had played it in 2015, which was my own stupid mistake. I got this thing for Christmas, I popped it in, and I finished it between January 1st and January 3rd, I think. I sat down and grinded this thing out, and it is quite an experience that you really do need to have, especially if you're a PlayStation 4 owner, and definitely if you're an Xbox One or PC owner, because you've had this opportunity for quite a while now. So now the final question that we're all probably wondering is that if you've already played through the game on the Xbox One or the PC, do you necessarily need to go back and play through this version on the PlayStation 4? Not necessarily. I mean, if you really enjoyed the story of Rise of the Tomb Raider and you want to continue supporting the franchise, you can go back and play it again. If you've never experienced the DLC, this is a great opportunity to kind of get the most bang for your buck. For $60, you've got over 50 hours of gameplay content according to Square Enix, which is not something you just shake a stick at. That is a significant amount of gameplay. So those are pretty much the two scenarios where I could see this making sense. Also, if you absolutely loved the game and wanted it on your Xbox One, PC, and PlayStation 4, now you have the opportunity to do that. But with this game's release, I really see this as the fulfillment of what its release should have been last year, because now you've got it on the Xbox One, the PC, and the PlayStation 4, and those guys that had to wait just a little bit longer are getting just a little bit extra in return for that. Now, of course, all the DLC stuff, aside from the VR stuff, is going to be playable on the Xbox One and PC at some point. I'm sure it maybe even already is, or it's coming out this week, but that's beside the point. Everyone has access to Rise of the Tomb Raider now, and you definitely need to play this one regardless of what else is coming out this season. So you might be saying, well, Sam, you're probably biased, and you would definitely be right. I'm a huge fan of Crystal Dynamics. I think they have done incredible with breathing a new life into the Tomb Raider franchise overall, with the original 2013 reboot, with the Definitive Edition bringing it to the new generation of consoles. With Rise of the Tomb Raider, they have done so incredibly well with Tomb Raider. Couldn't be happier with it. That being said, even if I am biased, even if other people are biased and you don't believe any of the reviewers, I think this game is way better as far as the narrative goes than the Uncharted franchise overall. I'm dropping the mic there. That's all I have to say. So there you guys have it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, MySpace, social media of your choice. If you happen to be new here, check out some of my other content, because I do upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week, depending on the week. So there's always something new here on the channel when you drop by to watch some videos. But as for right now, I have a huge essay to write. It's right around midterm season. If any of you are suffering through it with me, good luck to you, sir or ma'am, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.